Also in developing the strategy of non-violent as a means of protest, and this was a strategy. I am going to spend a lot of real intense time on the civil rights era, because of course that is my era. I love that era. I am obsessed. Maybe a little bit with that time. It's a lot of material on it, and I think I've said that before. It is a lot of material on it, but it's also it shows how you can develop it kind of just to me anyway, it shows how you develop different strategies in how to deal with something, and then you actually see it fully carried all the way out. And what they noticed in that era and in the era before them was violence. So the violence that white people inflicted upon black people was always instantly justified anytime a black person retaliated. It's kind of like the bully that bullies, of course, because that's what bullies do. The bully that bullies everybody, and then the bully gets beat up, and then the kid that beat him up is now the one that's in trouble because he should have been the bigger person, or some shit like that. That's why you have a real it was a real campaign of erasure of someone like Nat Turner. Also, another figure is someone like Forrest Joe and the Maroon community. The Black Maroons. Well, I think Maroons is black, but I don't know why I said that. I read somewhere Black Maroons. Or no, I'm wrong. Maroonage is, yeah, I think that's just a way of living. Anyway, the Maroon community and you have they really demonize the black people that retaliate for being hit, being with violence being acted upon us. Anytime we return the favor, we are somehow the worst person, and they completely forget that the other person just hit somebody. Like, you just hit me, but I'm somehow the bad person because I hit you back. And they saw that is what happened when black people would retaliate with violence. And then it didn't, not only did it make the black people worse, because it's the end of the world now because you hit back, but it also escalated the violent thirst of white people. And I'm not going to say white men, even though we know most of the violence was carried out by white men. I'm going to just say white people, because white women had that thirst too. They sat there at those picnics with a burning body above them, with their little children in their fucking Sunday's best dresses on, got little fucking polka dot dresses on and damn Buster Brown shoes on and shit, and you at a fucking lynching. That's the kind of people that we dealing with. that they dealt with. It's the same like people go and, you, for one, you don't even know the whole story, but you can just go your ass up there to the lynching. They killing somebody and you just gonna go up there. Oh yeah, we, well, what are y'all doing Saturday? Oh, we going to a lynching, this Saturday. Yeah, it's supposed to be a lynching of that Negro. Yeah, I forgot something he said, but he is one of, a barbaric, vicious one. Yeah. So you gonna come? Yeah, I'm taking the kids. It's gonna be me, Sally, and Ben, and his father, and I packed a few little sandwiches and stuff for us. I'm gonna get us a little fruit. I think I might pick some flowers from the garden, and yeah, we're just gonna set up a whole little nice picnic in the park while we watch the lynching. Who the fuck does that? Who? In their right mind? I mean, the bestiality and gore. Like, you're not human. You are animals. Them are dogs. Animals are better. I don't even think animals sit there and watch each other get mauled. Like, I can't remember. I don't even know an animal. I can't think of it because I'm sitting here trying to catalog my mind. I cut out some shit. I done forgot some shit. So it's probably not much up there about fucking animals fight. But I cannot remember. I don't remember seeing animals just sitting around watching each other maul each other to death. I mean, shit, a wolf maybe? I don't know. A wolf might want... I mean, shit, after they... I don't know. Because you don't want to jump in. It's like you jumping them. It's like, let them fight it out. And then it's like, well, shit, they good. So I'm going to go the other way. Like, why I got to sit here and watch this shit? And this is what... Like, this was a, this was a family activity. This was a daily... a Saturday thing, a weekly thing. They just went and did this. And so the civil rights era was saying, you know what? We have to approach it differently, because the more we shoot back, they just going to keep shooting. And eventually it's not going to be any of us left. So let's try to appeal to their moral sense of human decency. And they wasn't trying to appeal to everybody. It was certain people that they were trying to appeal to, because you have those people that's like, oh, that's something, but I don't have nothing to do with it. Them the ones that don't, they don't say nothing. They see something wrong, but they like, well, that ain't my business. In order for society to change its norms, there has to be a few people that are willing to stand up and say something about it. Doesn't matter that, this is the way it's been done. Well, it's been done wrong. But if no one says anything about it, they'll continue to do it wrong. I mean, they did it with slavery. I mean, it was... I mean, not just slavery in Europe, but then they also allowed slavery, chattel slavery, in America. And the world sat around and watched. They sat there and watched. They knew that shit was happening. At least in Europe, they knew. I can't say that Africa, that any places specifically on the continent of Africa knew, because Africa was being colonized itself. So, they was being colonized by Europe, hell. But Europe knew, because they benefited from it. But they let it go on until, a small amount of society stands up and say, hey, this shit is wrong, but let's stop this. And then when one person does it, a few more people stand up to it, and then a few more people stand up to it, and then a few more people that just stands with them, but they're not the ones that's saying anything. And so society, will change. They'll eventually change. They see that, the majority of people have a problem with this, and of that majority of people, a lot of them is speaking up about it, and they saying that it's wrong. So fuck it, we got to change some shit. And that's just sort of how society moves. And that's what the civil rights era was trying to appeal to. Those people who saw that it was wrong, but also was going to say something about it. And then also was going to carry the message that it was wrong. So that more people can see it and say, okay, fuck, we got to stop. We got to stop doing this shit. We got to stop. Something has to happen. Some got to give. We can't be doing this. And this is why the civil rights movement was different, because it just said we just need a different approach. Now you have somebody like Frantz Fanon back, way back when he was writing about it. He's saying that I'm not just saying that we need to end racism. We need to defeat colonialism. And colonialism is only continuing through violent oppression. They are just colonizing through, language or food or propaganda. They're also colonizing with violence. And the only way to combat that violence is with violence, or expect to get wiped out. And so, of course, he faced criticism for that, because anytime the black person fight back, we somehow was the worst. And this is what his critics argued, saying that his endorsement of violence was extreme and overlooked the potential for peaceful change. Now, who the fuck said that? Somebody white? Well, what the fuck you doing? Are you going out there taking people fucking guns away while they violently oppressing us and chaining us up, locking us up, fucking transporting us as humans? You sitting there talking about peaceful change. That motherfucker is violent. What you gonna do about him? Get rid of his ass, and maybe we could talk about peaceful change. Because he is a fucking barbarian. And not only is he a barbarian, he's a goddamn leader in the government. He don't have no fucking sympathy for nobody. He's around here giving orders for people to be barbarians. But it's something wrong with Frantz Fanon. He's wrong for saying fight violence with violence, right? Mind you, he's just not saying just willy-nilly go out there and just be violent, because that's what the fuck white people are doing. That's what they doing in colonialism. With colonization, they are going and finding people to be violent with. Like, people they find in their own little merry old business, doing their own thing, doing their shit. And then here they coming over here colonizing. So colonization is violent. The idea of colonization is violent. Think of the language and some of the stuff that it is violent. The idea of property is violent. The idea of ownership is violent. I'm going to get into that. That's my whole little spiel in the violent and how the legal system is violent.